Hello, welcome back to my little YouTube channel, guys. I know it's been a while, but I've been away visiting family. But while I was away, I had a couple of issues, minor issues, but it gave me a few problems, and it's to do with my deep cycle battery setup. Now, as you're aware, I'm still using the AGM, so it's still kicking along, so I don't think it'll be too long though. I will be updating to a lithium. I mean, it could be within the next few weeks. The first night I was away, I went camping overnight, and luckily I was at a caravan park, and I had problems with my battery. Well, what I thought was the battery, but I've since found out I think it's something else. And what happened is it was discharging very fast, and it was showing a very low voltage down to 12.1. We know that's not good for AGM. And I put it on my 240 volt charger. Luckily I always keep that in the vehicle. I always carry a 240 volt charger with me with the lead. And it's been really good since. You know, I've got that Enerdrive ePro Plus battery monitor. I was having some problems with that of late. It started off a while ago. It was a bit of an intermittent problem. And then it just got real bad, and it got me thinking maybe it's a problem with me battery monitor and it's not recording the correct. So I called Enerdrive. It only came with a 2-year warranty, and I was surprised. I thought they actually had a 5-year warranty, but it's only 2-year warranty. So I mean, I looked on their website and it said 5 years, so maybe when I bought that, like I would have bought it for about 4, maybe close to 5 years ago. So under the assumption it might have still been under warranty. It's a lot of money to spend for something that's only got 2-year warranty, where you can get other stuff out there that is half the price and it comes with a 5-year warranty. It's a battery monitor, but I've also got something else in addition to the battery monitor which will allow me to remotely connect to my 12 volt system anywhere in the world, as long as it's within 4G coverage, and as long as I'm within a Wi-Fi or some sort of cell-fi signal. I can then connect to my battery system and it'll tell me all the specs that I need to know. So I spoke to the technical department at Enerdrive, and they seemed to think it was just the monitor itself. So they said you can go and buy the monitor, but then they said that it's very hard to find. They haven't got any in stock. They won't have any in stock for a while. And I looked in price and they're about $110. The big thing that I didn't like about the Enerdrive is that it doesn't have Bluetooth. I've always wanted something that's got Bluetooth, and Victron have one that's got a Bluetooth, and it's a half, literally, if you price around, you can literally pick it up for half the price of what this Enerdrive ePro Plus is at Enerdrive. And they said, oh yes, no problem, we got a Bluetooth dongle you can purchase with them then. So I priced around, and the cheapest I could find was $199. So it was going to cost me about some $310 to get that operational. And I thought, that's crazy. Whereas the pricing around from one of the distributors for Victron down in Gold Coast, I picked up this brand new, you can see right here, I picked this up for $250. I kid you not, $250. No cost of freight, nothing. I just went to the distributor and picked it up. So what it is, it's a Victron, of course, and it's a battery monitor, and it's the 712 Smart. So what that means, it's actually got Bluetooth built into it. So we're going to change this over and fit this into my vehicle today. I mentioned about remotely connecting to it. Okay, so this is Bluetooth. I can connect to this as long as I'm within, I don't know what it is, 20 feet if you're lucky. With my phone I can connect to it. But what if I can connect to it anywhere in the world, as long as this thing has got some 4G connection somewhere? And that's where this fella comes in. It's new in the market here in Australia. So what it is, it's a Global Link 520. So if you don't know what that is, let's just take it out the box. So there it is there. So basically what that does is allows me to connect to my battery system remotely from anywhere in the world, as long as this thing is within a 4G coverage area, and I can check all the parameters on my battery, but not just battery, also solar. So if I've got a solar panel connected to this, all the graph is uploaded to your VRM portal account. So what that is, a VRM portal account, I can go on there, connect to my account, and it'll have the history of this 24-hour history. It is updated to the portal once every 15 minutes, and then once every 24 hours it does a major update. So it's like a type of dongle for your GSM connection, and it's got the card built in. Now the beauty with this is I don't have to go uptown and buy another SIM card and pay extra fees on it. This includes all the data that this will use anywhere in the world. Practically it supports most countries in the world, including here in Australia. It'll find the closest, strongest signal, 4G signal, so it's not 2G or 3G like a lot of the stuff you buy nowadays, because 2G is going to be obsolete soon in Australia, if not already, and I would imagine 3G would be the same. It won't last forever. There's no point buying something that's going to, that you want to plan to use in years and years and years and years time, to find that that service that it's using is not going to be provided anymore. So 4G is going to be hanging around for a long time. There's no problems at all. 4G will be around. So that includes the 4G, and it's free for 5 years. 5 years I don't have to pay, and that's included when you purchase this. So we're going to install video on this later today or tomorrow as well. Let's have a look and see what we got, shall we? Let's do a bit of an unboxing. So here's the item here. So as I mentioned before, let's have a look over the package first. And what I like about this, 5-year warranty. Check that out, guys. 5-year warranty. Not like the 2-year on the Energive. As much as I like that battery monitor, I was a bit disappointed for the price, the fact that it only had 2-year warranty. That's surprising. For some reason I thought it had a 5-year, but it's 2-year. But no, so this one has got the 5-year. Simple to install, very similar in some ways to my ePro Plus to install, and you've got like a diagram on the back to show us how to install these as well. But I can't wait to connect this up onto my Bluetooth, and I can't wait to get this thing going. These are so new out in the market, guys. It's just got a plain brown box, and it doesn't have any instructions, nothing like that, but they're very simple, and you can download a full set of instructions from their Victron website, which is what I'm going to be doing later. So let's open this up, shall we? Ta-da! We'll put that aside. So what do we got underneath here? Check that manual out. Look how thick that manual is, hey? And we've got a quick connection guide. So it also comes with a quick connecting guide, which is what we're going to be referring to when I install this. Now guys, these are so simple to install. I don't think I'm going to bore you and show you me unscrewing the old one out and putting the new one in. What I'll do shortly is we'll go over this menu more thoroughly, and I'll show you exactly which method I've chosen. So that's the shunt. For those that don't know, the shunt, its job is to record the power, the capacity that's going in and out of the battery. So when you wire these up, you'll notice it's got a battery only side and a load and charger side. So what that means, and of course this fits to the negative, so you fit this to the negative. So what you want to do is you want to mount this as close as possible to your deep cycle battery, and you connect a negative. So you want to use a nice beefy thick negative cable that connects from the negative on your battery to the negative onto the battery only indicator on your Victron shunt. So that screws on there and nothing else. That's it. You do not connect anything else. All the other negatives goes through this type path here. Now what a lot of people do is they use a bus bar and connect all the negatives to this bus bar, and then they can bolt the bus bar onto this or connect to it via a very thick cable. Okay, 12 volt cable. So you want something really thick, depending on what sort of load, what you're going to use your 12 volt system for. So this here is capable up to 500 amps. Okay, so this here you can get 500 amps in these. You can actually get them with a well above 500. I think there's 1,000, and it might even be a 1,500 amp for your really big system setups. But the majority of you guys, particularly you guys in 4 drives, caravans and so on, this is going to be sufficient. So all the negatives and everything you got in your vehicle, your charger, they all want to go through on this side of the shunt, and that will then give you, this here will then record what sort of power is coming in and out. And then by that, you see it's got a plug in there, like a network cable plug, which is included, and you've got plenty of length there. So what that's for is to mount your monitor. So not only you can view the data, what's happening, your battery voltage, your state of charge, etc. How many amps coming in, how many amps going out, how many amps is accumulated per that day, etc. Through this, you can also check it on your phone. So remember that. And mostly I'll be using the phone. This is great to use if you just want to have a quick glance and just have a look. Oh yeah, battery's at such and such, or at that percentage of charge, etc. And of course, you also get a couple of power leads, one for your deep cycle, the other one if you want to connect your starter battery on it. What it does is that it will monitor the voltage of your starter battery, and that's something that eventually I will wire up. I won't do it today because I'm going to need a longer cable. Might have to cut this and rejoin a longer cable onto it and run this out to my starter battery so I can monitor the voltage of the starter battery as well. As I mentioned, it's a pretty simple setup, guys. Let's quickly go over this menu. I won't bore you and show you too much of the installation, otherwise this video will go on too long. What I'm going to do is remove the old shunt that I've got in my battery box there, and I'll use the same cable. So basically, a couple of screws, undo the shunt, undo the negative cables, put the new shunt in its place, connect the negative cables up, bolt it down to a nice secure location where it won't short out anywhere. Grab the lead, plug it in, install the monitor, download your Victron app on your phone, which I'll show you soon, but I've actually already got it because remember I've got a Victron MPPT smart solar regulator on my vehicle, so I've already got the shunt. Sorry, shunt. Oh yes, I do have the shunt. I just showed you that, and I've got a shunt stuck on my mind. I've already got the Victron Connect app connected to my phone. I'm so happy to get on in front of the camera and show you this stuff, guys. I've been away on a bit of a holiday, spending time with family, getting in lots of scooter rides, so I just didn't have time. I just didn't want to do any filming or anything. That's just my personal time with the family. So there's been no filming for 3 weeks, and that's the reason why. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do what I just explained, and then I'll grab the camera and show you where I mounted everything. So stay tuned. So fast forward an hour or so, and she's all installed now. So what I've ended up doing is I've installed it just on this side of the battery box, because that battery box is just a temporary measure right now, because as I mentioned before, I'm going to eventually update to a lithium battery. And when I do that, I've got some different ideas on mounting the lithium battery inside my third seat well in the back of my Pajero. So I don't know if you've seen some of my Pajero videos of late. Well, of late, actually about a year or two ago. And particularly on the drifter drawers I've got on the back, how it's got that third seat well that I've taken the third row of seat out, because this is a 7-seater, so I've taken that out and placed the drifter drawers on the top. And what Drifter has done to utilise that huge space, a volume of area underneath the drawers where the third seats used to fold into, they've cut a couple of inspection holes under the drawers, so if you pull the drawers out, then you can gain access under there. It's very rarely I ever use that space, so I'm going to use that space to mount my battery system in there. That way it's not in the vehicle. Now the lithium battery is a lot lighter as well, so I don't have to worry about having all that weight at the back, because they're only about 12.5 kilos compared to my AGM there, which is around the 33 kilos. So there's no way I wanted to have that right at the very back of the vehicle. So hence why one of the ideal places I've mounted it for my vehicle and bolted it down is right there in the footwell. You can see right there inside that box. Now it's been there for about 5 years, and I've never, well actually this particular vehicle, it's been in there for 3 years, because I've only owned this Pajero for just over 3 years, but I did have it for a couple of years, almost 2 years, in my last 4-wheel drive prior to this, and a Vitara with a very similar setup to what you see here. It was mounted right there at that spot. So, and it worked fine. It worked absolutely brilliant. It says I need to set up the perimeters. Okay, so hit the plus button. So I got it to 120 amps, so it's a 120 amp battery, so all you do is hit the up or down and hit the plus. I've already entered that in before, and now that's added. Now it's telling me my main battery is 12.73, which is about right. It was almost fully charged before I swapped the cables, the battery monitors around. Now as far as I know, if I hit the plus or minus, so it's drawing 4 amps at the moment. That's my fridge, because I've had the fridge turned off for about an hour. It's now running both the freezer and the fridge, and while it's doing that, it's drawing 4 amps. So, but once it gets up to temperature, because of its really good insulation, it holds that temperature for quite some time. It also gives me the watts. I didn't have that feature on the EnerDrive, and it tells me how many amps I have taken out of that battery so far. Now I'm not sure if this is a total of its lifetime, or if that's telling me how many amps I've taken out on this charge, and then when I fully recharge it, whether that recycles back to 0 or not, I'm not too sure. And the battery is at 99.3% capacity, which would be about right, because I've had this turned on for a little, probably about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes now. Oh, it's even got more. Brilliant. It even tells you how many hours before your battery's down. Now I've set a discharge of 50% on this, so it's going to actually, even though it's an AGM, the AGM you can only really safely take them down to half their capacity, which in my case would be 60 amps. So it's telling me I've got 16 hours. If that fridge is kept running consistently, and I'll have 16 hours before that battery's below its 50%. Now I believe that's what I understand with that. And of course, I didn't mention before, I also purchased the additional battery temperature cable. And so, and how that works is that I've actually, you'll see that I've still got both of these positive cables in here. I didn't use these, I don't have to use these. So when you get the battery monitor cable, it takes the place of your power cables, your positive. So I've used that in place, and now it's telling me my battery's 22 degrees Celsius, which is excellent. And that's particularly now that that battery's getting on a better age, this will come in very handy. And now we go back to 12.75 volts. So that's going to be mounted in the back of my vehicle, the same spot where I had the other one. Now I can also access all this on my phone. So let's have a look on the phone, shall we? Okay, so I've got my trusty little iPhone here. So I'm just going to log into this now. And what we do now is we want to start the Victron Connect app. So you can see I've got the Victron Connect app. Now you can see I've got two devices. I've got my Victron MPPT solar regulator, and I've got now the new battery monitor that I just fitted. Now the reason why I didn't start filming until 10 or 15 minutes after I had all this connected is that I had to update the firmware. There's a couple of firmwares I had to update, one for the shunt and one for the actual battery monitor. Now it's asking me to change the default pin code, so I'll do that later, so not now. And there's all the info now. How brilliant is that? Now I'll be able to check all the info on this without having to go through that little screen there, and I can be able to lie up on top of my rooftop tent and check to see how the battery is set up. Remember, soon I've got another video I'm going to film. Soon I'll be able to do that remotely away from my vehicle. So, and of course it's got all the info here you'd want. You can see it's got the state of charge, which is now on 99%. It's got the voltage, which is on 12.77 volts. It's telling me it's pulling down current out of the fridge at 3.83 amps at the moment, and which is 44 watts. How brilliant how it says the watts there. Time remaining 19 hours, because it's using a little bit less power now. It's dropping down 3.44 because the fridge is starting to cool down now. And of course it's got my battery temperature there as well, 22 degrees Celsius. And then also if you can go to your history, now this will be brilliant. This will tell me a history of the life of that battery. So when I get a lithium, I'll be able to start, hopefully I'll be able to reset this down to 0 and start from scratch. So you've got the deepest discharge. It's got your last discharge. So far it's at 1 amp hour, so it's actually recording that. Average discharge, which is brilliant. And it's got the cumulative amp hour draw, the life of that battery. So it would have been ideal if I had the lithium right now. Discharge energy, I'm not sure what that means. Total charge cycles. Okay, so that's how many times it's been charged. How brilliant is that? Number of times of synchronizations. I haven't synchronized it yet, but we'll soon. Number of full discharges. Okay, and time since the last full charge. So I only connected this 15 minutes ago, so it's telling me 15 minutes ago, and it's probably pretty well right. This battery was fully charged before I set this up. And we've got voltage alarms, which I need to set that up. That'll be perfect to have that set up. And we've got the battery voltage and maximum voltage, minimum starter voltage, maximum starter voltage, etc. Well, I don't have the starter battery connected on this as well. And then we can go on to trends, which is a graph. It gives you a live feed for what's going on. So choose current state of charge, okay, and then current amps, what it's drawing. So it's shown here how it's drawing, the average. So how brilliant is that? So I'll be able to check all that soon. And that's it. It's all working brilliant. It's working great. Very easy to set up. Virtually, I think all I had to do was just change it to the amp hour of the battery, which is 120 amps, and all the other parameters were pretty well spot on. But I'm going to go over those the next day or two and just study it and make sure that the parameters are all set correctly there. So as always, if there's any questions, just pop the question below and I'll do my best to answer. And for those who've watched all right through, thank you very much. For those who are watching and not subscribing, it will really help my channel a lot if you do subscribe. It's quite a bit of time and effort goes into producing these videos for you, and not just that, money as well, the cost of the camera gear and so on. So for now, thanks for watching, guys. Until the next one, won't be too long for the next one. In fact, as soon as I finish this one, I'm probably going to transfer this footage over to the computer and get straight on to this fella here. Okay, and this is exciting. Okay, remember I spoke about this. With this device, what's inside here, I'll be able to remotely connect to my system, and it'll give me all the history, everything, including my solar panel. If I got my solar panel set up, I can go back and check and see what sort of wattage I was getting per hour on time of day, and how much power, discharge, everything. I'll go through it, all the features that you can get, and I'll show it to you on my computer as well when I'm remotely connected to it, what the graph is. So guys, till then, be happy, be kind to everyone, and cheers, and put a like. Cheers.